we're recording. Cool. Hi, so I'm Lace from Safe and Hope. This is Henrietta.
Hi.
So we're here today to talk about our experience with postnatal mental health, all in aid of Maternal Mental Health Awareness Week, trying to raise awareness, stop the stigma, and hopefully helping as many women as we possibly can towards recovery.
Brilliant.
So I thought what we would do if I share my story a little bit, and then Henrietta, are you happy to share yours?
Happy to share mine, yeah.
Perfect. So a lot of people that follow me would already know this, because I feel like I talk about it so much they're probably sick of hearing it. But I had postpartum psychosis. Yeah, I feel like sometimes I'm like, are people bored of this now, or is it?
No.
I don't know.
No, it's your power, isn't it? It's your power.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and it's my passion as well now.
Yeah.
So there you go. If you're bored of it, I'm sorry, but I'm going to say it again. So I had postpartum psychosis after the birth of my second baby in 2019, so not that long ago. And I had nothing with my first. So I wasn't, I feel like I probably, looking back at it, I might have had a bit of postnatal depression, but probably more like baby blues. I had no real depression before, and I'd never experienced any form of mental health illness before as well. So this hit me like a brick. And my birth with Alfie and my pregnancy with Alfie was all complicated, and it was all pretty nasty. I mean, it was a completely unexpected pregnancy, and it was, quite frankly, an unwanted pregnancy as well. And then when I went into labour early, and I was also a student midwife. So that was my job beforehand. So I was actually assisting with a cesarean section when my waters broke. So it broke in as well. It's like one thing after another. And then I had quite a horrific labour. I caught sepsis, and it was all a little bit scary. Anyway, he arrived and was taken straight up to NICU. And he spent 6 weeks in NICU because he had really weak lungs and he wasn't very well. But then he came home, and when he first came home, I was like, oh my God, I am amazing. I felt like I was walking on the top of the earth.
You were on a high,
Literally like what is people worrying about? 2 kids? It's so easy.
Brilliant.
Easy. Friends that had 2 children were like, you're going to struggle when the second one comes along. And I was like, what are they talking about? I'm pushing this. I'm great. Like breastfeeding on the go. We was going out every day. There was activities planned all the time. But I think deep down, I really was struggling, but I hadn't told anybody, and I probably hadn't told myself as well. I hadn't allowed myself to accept it. And then that lasted for about 3 weeks, and then the mania started and the manicness. So it was completely manic, and I wasn't sleeping because of this mania, and I just couldn't stop. Basically, when people ask me to describe mania, I'm like, oh, it's really hard. It's like when you're really excited to do something and you're just like running around crazy and you just can't switch that off. And that lasted for a few weeks. And then I think with the lack of the sleep and with the mania and with the postnatal depression, psychosis then hit. And now I'm no professional. I don't know if that was the reason, but that's how I sort of diagnosed it in my head. And the turning point for me was I could see things and I could hear things that weren't really there. So I could hear like the TV started telling me messages about how to harm my baby. And I live quite literally opposite, but there's a river in between us, a football stadium. And when the games were on, I could hear people chanting to her, telling me to hurt my baby. And then I think the real scary one was when I was walking my daughter to school, and there was a man that was following me with a gun, and he was going to kill me and my older daughter. And the thing that this sounds awful saying it now, and I really apologize for the way it comes across, but generally this is how I felt. I thought, he can take my son, that's absolutely fine, that's what he wants, but he can't take me and my daughter, he can't do that. So I was terrified, and I got home and was in a state of, well, I didn't even know where I was was just completely manic, but also really terrified and scared. And my husband just swooped me up and took me to the doctors and made me see a doctor that day. And then I was so lucky in the fact that I got referred to a mother and baby unit in the same day. And that's practically unheard of. I mean, there's so few around. And it's really unheard of for that to happen. So I'm so thankful for that. And then I spent 9 weeks in the mother and baby unit. And I feel like a lot of my memory of that has just vanished, partly because I tried to block it out, because obviously it's not the nicest place to be. But I feel like I don't remember much of it. I remember feeling like I was going to make a time machine. And I generally believe that this was what I was the first person in the world that was going to invent a time machine. And I was going to go back to before I was pregnant with Alfie. And I remember one of the nurses coming to sit next to me, and I was telling her all about it, and I was so excited. And she said, like, Lace, if you get invent a time machine, you're going to be a millionaire. And then that afternoon, I started writing up a document where I said, you can keep every penny. I'm not worried about the money. I just want to go back to before. I don't want this. And I was in a very dark and scary place. I tried to commit suicide a few times, and I felt like that was the only way that I could end this horrific darkness that I was in. And then one day, after around 9 weeks, well, probably after about 7 weeks, a peer support worker came and sat next to me. And by this point, I hadn't really spoken to anyone. I hadn't opened up to anybody. I was just in a bubble. And I was like, I don't want anyone to come near me, even my friends and my family. Like, me and my mum are so close. My husband, I love unconditionally. And I didn't want them anywhere near me. I couldn't look at them. I couldn't cuddle them. It was just so odd. And this peer support worker came and sat next to me, and she said, I had postpartum psychosis 2 years ago. I wanted to kill my baby, and I wanted to end my life too. And she said, and I stayed in this mother and baby unit for 10 weeks. And I can tell you it gets better. You just got to hold on. It gets better. And I think that was the first time that I thought, actually, I don't have to die. Like, I don't have to die. Maybe I can get better. Like, if someone else can do it, then maybe I could. But that broke that circle, and that's when I started my recovery. And it's been a very long road to recovery. It's not easy, but it's definitely possible. And I think that's the biggest thing that I always talk about now, is when you're in that darkness, there's no way that you think you can get better. And people always tell you you'll get better, you know, you're going to make it through this. But I generally didn't believe that I was going to get better. So that's when it started to happen, really. And I started to believe that actually maybe I can. I've got to fight this. I'm not going to go with it anymore. Maybe I can make it go away. And so eventually I came home, and I stayed with my mum, moved in with us to help my husband. And very slowly but very surely, I was getting better each day. Obviously, there was still lots of ups and downs, as there always is with any form of mental health illness. And I started making soaps as like a pastime whilst I was in the mother and baby unit, starting to recover. I really enjoyed it, and I felt like when I was doing it, it allowed my head to have a bit of space and a bit of brightness rather than constantly dark thoughts. It allowed a bit of space. So this just carried on. And then I said, like, actually, one of the nurses said to me, God, you should make a business out of this. And she said, and when you feel ready, you should share your story as well, because I think you're going to help so many people. And at the time, I was a bit like, okay, right. But that's exactly what happened. And I followed it, and I started selling my soaps online, and it's just grown. And now we're here. And Soap and Hope is now a really successful small local business. I sell not just soaps now, but a whole range of bath products. And we also offer our support as peer support workers. So we look after people, offer them support that are going through it right now. And my mum also offers support to their family and their friends, because I feel like that's a massive part that's missing. My mum and my husband didn't receive any support at that time. So she's so passionate about it because she believes that she should have had support then. Because like me, she didn't have a clue what was going on. So that's what we do. And that's how we try and help now. So Soap and Hope I love the bath products. I love doing it. And it still gives me that bit of brightness on a darker day. But it's more about helping others. It's so much more than just pretty products. It's helping others and about normalizing postnatal mental illness. I feel like I've just like thrown words at you. I'm so sorry.
No, it's honestly, I think it's amazing. And I think listening to your story, the thing that hits me the most is that when you were in the thick of it, just having another voice to be like, you can get through this. Trust me, you can get through. And it's not, because it's different when it's just somebody who's detached from it, who's never been through it. But when it's somebody in there with you, in the fire with you, it hits differently and it impacts you differently. So that's really what kind of made you step into that recovery stage, where you then, as soon as that person said it to you, you were automatically like, you know what, I can do this.
I can do it.
And that highlights the whole point of Maternal Mental Health Awareness Week, is because all we need is somebody who's been through it to just say to us, you will get through this. Trust me. Trust me. Like, you know, anybody else can say those words to you, but I'm telling you, you will get through this. You're strong enough. And that can be enough. That was the thing that changed your mindset. And then you started saying, okay, maybe I can do this.
Maybe
you
I
know,
can.
And that maybe is all you need. Because once you've got that, maybe I can, you start slowly believing in yourself and trusting yourself to heal through all of that, because what you went through was so deep and so complicated as well. And you must have felt in yourself that, why am I feeling these things? What, you know, and then and you know, the people around you probably are also like, what's going on? What is going on? And now you're providing that support, not just for the people that are going through that, but the people that are supporting that person. I think that's amazing, because your soaps are not just general soaps. You're not just saying, oh, I've just decided out of nowhere to just make soaps and that's now my business. You've got a story behind it. There's meaning behind each soap that you create, because there's a hope that it will help somebody else. It's not in vain. It's not selfish. You're actually doing it because it was your recovery, and now you're spreading that out into the world and saying, I want to help you recover. I want to help you recover, and all of that stuff. It's like that Oprah moment where she's like, you get it, you get this, you get that, and stuff like that. So I think it's amazing. And I think this is why I love hearing stories and stuff, because it makes me feel connected to you and just be like, oh, the real person behind the screen. It's not like, you know.
Also, I feel like it when I meet someone else who has suffered. At the time, I felt like I was the only person in the whole entire world that ever felt this way. But speaking to people like you and speaking to anybody that has suffered from any form of postnatal mental illness, you're like, actually, oh yeah, okay, maybe I'm not this person. There is other people.
Me.
And actually, there's bloody loads of us. It's so common. And it's such a taboo subject that people don't talk about because they're ashamed. And actually, I just want to shout it from the rooftops now. At the time, I feel like I was probably a bit ashamed, but now I'm like, I had postpartum psychosis, and actually, I'm recovered, and I want everyone to know that it is possible to recover.
That's amazing. And the fact that you had the strength as well to actually climb out of that situation, like, I think that's amazing. And I've got so much respect for you and your business now as well, because now I'm just like, I just want to share it with everybody.
Please do. That's amazing.
But that's
kind of reach as many people as possible. So.
Like, and I support that, and I'm gonna push that as well. But it's kind of similar to my story. I had postnatal depression with my first child, so it's swapped different from you. It was with my first child, and I think there was loads of different factors that caused it, and I didn't realize that I had it as well, and I didn't feel confident enough to express those feelings. But I think one of the factors was that I had hyperemesis when I was pregnant with my first son, which is like an extreme pregnancy sickness, basically, where you need to be hospitalized, you can't keep anything down. And
that really bad morning sickness.
Really bad, like you literally can't, you have to be on anti-sickness tablets, and the tablets themselves, like when you read some of the reviews, or when you read some of the potential effects it could have on your baby, it's so scary taking those tablets as well. And you're just in this, like, you have to make a choice of like my mental health versus how it could affect my baby. So it was just, I think that really affected me. And I was also just, I had to move from my flat into my now husband's house, and that transition was difficult for me as well, because he wasn't planned, so it was just a lot. And so when he came, that initial bond or bubbly feeling that you always see in the adverts, or I just kind of held him, and I just felt like, okay, like, is this it? Like, isn't there supposed to be like a flood of, and that feeling didn't really go away, actually got worse. It turned into resentment. Actually, it turned into resentment, not just towards my baby, but towards my husband and everybody else. And I felt closed in, and I was a young mom as well, so it made me feel like, oh, I'm missing out on all the things. My friends are in uni, they're partying, they're traveling, and I'm kind of in this trapped space. And I tried to do the mom groups and all the baby groups, and I just didn't fit into the kind of cliques that were there.
Yeah.
So it was isolating, and I felt alone. And I think that's kind of what really like affected me. And for me, I had a moment where I was like, I just want to get away for a little break. I'm sick of seeing the same four walls. I'm sick of just the routine of wake up, feed the baby, like take a walk. Like, I was fed up of it. I just wanted to get away, like, and actually go somewhere where I can be looked after for a little bit, where I don't have to do any cooking. And I also just wanted to meet other moms as well. I wanted to really talk to other moms who get it, and have some time to do that. So I actually started looking up like mom and baby getaways, or mom and baby like trips, or something like that. And there wasn't really anything like it at the time. And for me, it was just kind of that light bulb moment of like, oh, like maybe let me just create it for myself. And then I started asking around and asking like my mom friends, like, do you think you'd want to come like away with me, and we make it like a thing? And they were like, oh, this is a brilliant idea. So it started really organically. And we all got together. The very first one I did was mainly surrounded by some people that I knew, or some people that I'd already kind of spoken to about it being a business. And it just felt right. It felt like, oh, like this is it. This is how it helped me recover. But I also thought, this is how I want to help other people recover. Because I didn't want it to be a mom group or something for an hour. I wanted it to be over 2 nights, because that's really where you get to know people. You get to see them with their baby, not just, because sometimes you get to mom groups and there's that mom who the baby's quiet, literally, yeah. But if you spend 2 nights with me and my baby, you'll see my up and downs, and there's so much better or stronger bonding in seeing somebody else struggling with their baby, and you being there and you understand, and you're like, do you want me to help with that? Or do let's talk about that, or and then there's that bonding. And we stay up all the way until 10 p.m. just talking about life and motherhood, and it felt so organic and natural, and it helped me recover. Like I felt like I found purpose, I found my identity, I found my people, like, and I found like, just people that get it, not people that pretend to get it or sugarcoat it or judge me. It felt safe. And similar to you, that's what the soaps, you creating those soaps, that's what it was for you. It was like a recovery and something for you to focus in on, something that gave you purpose, like, oh, I can do this and it's just for me. So that's what the business and the retreats were like for me, and it's just kind of been that way ever since. So for me, hearing your story is just making me want us to do something together, because now I'm like, yeah. And that's why when you told me what your story was, I was like, I want to be all in, like whatever I can do to, collaborate. And now we're on a Zoom call together, and we only met last week.
We haven't stopped chatting the whole week.
I know. So, and that's the power of connection and sharing your story. And that lady that said to you that one day when you feel like strong enough to share your story. That's the power of it, because had you not shared your story, I would have just thought, okay, she's Lace, that just sells soaps and that's it.
Exactly. Yeah.
But when you tell your story, it's not just that, it's a whole,
so much more.
Yeah. And I just
like yours as well, it's so much more than, you know, the retreats, which, oh my God, sound amazing. I love this.
Thank you.
It just sounds incredible, but like it's so much more than that. There's so much more behind it, and I think that we can both get that passion because there's that behind it. You know, you get business starters that do incredible, but haven't got the passion of whatever it might be behind it. And I think that's where hopefully our business can take us. But it's mainly about sharing the story and raising awareness like yourself. So it's amazing. So how long have they been going now?
Coming up to 4 years now.
Wow.
So yeah, it's been 4 years, and I've lost count of how many I've run. I think it's been, because I've been doing it more as like a hobby.
Yeah.
Because I was balancing family life and stuff like that. But my 2-year-old
children.
Definitely not. Definitely. You're just trying to find that balance. But now my 2-year-old is going to be starting nursery soon, and my 4-year-old is in reception. So once they're more like in full-time childcare, both of them, I think I'm just going to jump and just start running them full-time as a full-time business, because I'm really fortunate enough that the retreats have been successful and they've reached moms from everywhere. I'm based in Sheffield, so the retreats have mainly been around the Sheffield area, but we've had moms travel from Essex, moms travel from Scotland, moms travel from anywhere, you know, and you can just imagine them driving with these tiny newborns, but that's how much they just want a break, you know. So I'm just like, I just want to do them full time now, and that's my goal. But I
think they're going to spread like wildfire as well. I mean, once we're out of this situation completely and we can do everything we want to do again, oh my God, like, even for me. And I was telling one of my friends about what you do the other day, and she was like, oh my God, I want to go, when's the next one?
Exactly. It's like even if nobody comes, I'll just run a retreat for myself. Like I'm just like so, but I love this because we just organically met, and I'm just like even thinking of how to merge our businesses together, because one of the things that we actually do on the retreat is a pamper night, you know, for them, or pamper evening or something like that. And I think it would be so good to actually include the soaps in that, or encourage the mums, because most of the mums, they love having a bath or at some point like on their own while the baby's napping and stuff like that. So I think it would be so good to actually, because I'm thinking of doing like little welcome packs on their bed when they arrive. It'll be so good to actually put in your soaps in there as well, and actually add that into the welcome pack.
That would be amazing.
So that's what I'm thinking, and I'm just I love working with moms that know the struggle, like, you know, like and I love spreading that and sharing that with the moms on the retreats and stuff. So definitely I'm just all about raising awareness. And actually I think since we're doing a live, it would be good for you to even talk about the Letters for Live thing, because I'm really thinking of doing that as well.
It's amazing. So Letters of Light is a small charity that's just seemed to have like exploded. They are amazing. So basically you write a letter from yourself, as a mum that has been through some sort of postnatal mental illness. And it's a letter of hope, and it's a letter just to say, like, you're going to get better, you will get through this. And these letters are all sent to Liv and her team, which are incredible, and they're sent now worldwide, which again, amazing. And to women that are suffering in the time, because probably like yourself, I presume that you feel like you're the only person in the whole entire world that is feeling like that. I remember feeling like, why do I want to hurt my baby? There's no other person in this whole entire world that could possibly think like that. Like no one. And yet since recovering, I have met hundreds of women that felt the same. And actually that makes it feel a little bit more normal. It's not normal. It's not nice, obviously. but it's normal to have some form of postnatal mental illness. So she then sends these letters on, and people read them who are struggling at the time, and it just gives them that hope. And like I had that peer support worker sit next to me and say, you will get better, I feel like a letter that would have done the same thing, you know? What do you think you would have felt if you got a letter?
Oh my gosh, that would have been amazing, because like you said, it felt like I was the only one. I think because I was also isolated as well, that would have helped me feel like, okay, there's somebody out there that understands how I feel. And there's somebody out there that who's been through it, and they're telling me that there's a way out, and there's a life outside of this like specific moment in my life. So it would have been I think it would have drastically changed my mental state and made me just feel less alone, because that's the thing, is that you're already struggling with all these feelings, these thoughts, and you already know you're not supposed to be feeling those feelings, because you're like, I should, love my baby, and I just don't. And somebody just coming up to you and saying, actually, it's okay if you don't feel those warm fuzzy feelings straight away, they'll come maybe later on, it doesn't have to be right now, just having that voice of reason and validation, it just makes such a difference. So if I'm a mom in that situation, am I able to get in touch with the organization?
They've got an amazing website. Just go on the website, Letters of Light, and there's all the information on there, and you can opt to write a letter or opt to receive a letter. It's all on there. It's amazing. And also, I think it made, like, when I wrote my first letter, I was like, God, I'm now writing this as someone who's recovered. And because I always do this, so I'm like, recovered, but actually it's so ongoing that you'll never fully recover, but you recover, And so when I wrote my first letter, I was like, oh my God, like, this means I'm better. And then that gave me such a big boost, because I was like, actually, I'm okay. I'm doing good now. I'm doing well enough to help somebody else. And so it gives you such a boost as well. And it makes you I felt so proud of just writing a letter, putting pen to paper. And I think the other amazing thing about it is they're all handwritten notes. They're not computers, they're not typed, they're just all handwritten. I decorate all of mine. I'm a bit of a drawer. So I decorate all of mine and colour them in, and I have a great time doing it. So they're amazing. You should, and anyone that's listening should definitely have a look and check them out. And if you want to write a letter, then what an incredible thing to do.
That is amazing, honestly. I'm definitely gonna talk about that as well a lot more, because I think
they're great.
Such an amazing cause, because because it's like pen pals, isn't it? Like
love it. I love it. And I think in this era that we're in at the moment, everything is texting or social media and everything else. So to have a handwritten note is so personal and so nice.
Because you can, it's somebody's handwriting and style, and you can just feel their personality and energy through it.
Definitely.
So, but
and the other thing I was going to say is, like, we've both spoken about it, how like society paints this picture of you have a you have a good pregnancy, labor is easy, it's a dream, it's this and it's that. It's freaking not. Labor's hard. It's horrible. And also they paint this other picture, the baby is placed on your chest, and then there's this like light that comes around you, and there's glitter and there's love, and sometimes people have that, and that is incredible. But a lot of the time that doesn't happen. And like in my case, Alf was on me for I think about 5 seconds until they took him off because he wasn't breathing. But that moment of holding that baby, and even with my first, I remember feeling like, wait, shouldn't there be like some glitter falling from the ceiling or something right now? Like, something should be happening. And I think this picture is painted through like social media, through magazines, glossy magazines of beautiful pregnant women. And and actually we need to not raise that message so much, but raise the message that actually, you feel a bit crap after having a baby, your mood's a bit low, but that's completely normal. That's so normal. In fact, like, I think it's these statistics, recent ones, are 1 in 3 in every mum suffers from some form of mental health illness after having a baby. So it's so bloody normal, but yet
it's
still,
actually biological. It's not even something that we are in control of or anything like that. And I think that kind of expectation of that moment as well is something we put on ourselves. Like, we expect that moment, but that's because of everything we've seen. You're like, oh, I've seen pictures, I've seen this, I've seen that, so this is how I should feel. But then we're completely ignoring the fact that you've been in labor for hours, you haven't slept, you're probably not allowed to eat anything, or you can't eat anything. You're going through contractions that are, that just feel like it hurts. Yeah.
Not magical. I mean, they might be fun, but for me, nah.
Exactly. Like, you're going through all of these things. You have no control of your body. You're weeing yourself. You're just sick. It's not even glamorous. It's so grim.
No. It's like, oh my God, can I just say that? Like,
yeah.
So normal. I realized it, and I was like, oh my God, it's the worst thing ever.
Yeah, but it's like, our bodies go through so much, and never mind the labor itself. You've just harbored an infant in your stomach for the past 9 months.
Yeah.
And now they've just popped out into the world, and now your uterus is going back to not, like, there's so much going on. It's no wonder you don't feel like you're enjoying it. You're knackered.
Yeah, and not only that, but all those hormones as well. There's so many hundreds of hormones that flow through your body through pregnancy, labor, birth. And so the come down of that has to be something, you can't have all of this and then nothing. There has to be something to come it down as well. So I just, if there's anything I could change in the world, it would be just to change that picture, the one that you see on a glossy magazine, or the Instagram mum that you see, and change that picture and change it to someone that's just sitting there with no makeup on, still wearing their pajamas for 3 days, not showered for about a week, greasy hair. That's what you need, and that's what people need to see.
The real I think that's kind of why I loved watching. I know it's edited anyway, but I think that's why I enjoyed watching One Born Every Minute. Like, I kind of binged that because like I said, I know it's edited, but it was just kind of like, oh, this is what really happens. It's not really the, but it's just real, like, and I think I just want more realness. I want more moms talking about, what obviously the good parts are great, but also just talking about the stuff that isn't so good. Because I think if we really are honest with ourselves, a lot of us, I would say it's a lot more than 1 in 3. Like, I would say every mom at some point hits a low, like, it's but a lot of moms, and including myself, I didn't realize that was a low. I was just kind of like, why am I feeling like this? Let me just push myself and try and, but actually it's hormonal.
It's normal. And actually, I think some people, unfortunately, are being told, from the older, not from the older generation, but from another generation, I'm going to say, pull your socks up. You're good. You've just had a baby. Come on. It's not the end of the world. You're all right. What are you doing? Because back then it wasn't a thing, they didn't believe in it. And so people are being told that actually what you worried about, you're fine, what you're doing. And actually no.
Or like people that are like, because I had the comment, there's loads of people that can't have babies and you have one. And that, like, at the time it really hurt me, because I was like, okay, well, so does that mean I'm not allowed to enjoy, am I supposed to constantly be happy and things like that? Like, I am sensitive to all of that. It's a bit like somebody saying to you, why are you upset that you can't order in tonight when, like, there's people that don't have food? Like, I'm aware poverty is a thing. It doesn't make me, it doesn't mean I'm insensitive to all of that. No. Does that mean I'm not allowed to have my own problems? So I think it's also just that kind of, like, those comments that you just don't need, they don't help. Like, what am I supposed to do with that comment? It doesn't help me. And I got a lot of breastfeeding backlash as well. Like, do you want to try and support me instead? Because your comments are not helping me. They're not building me. They're breaking me down. So it was just, it's a lot of factors that we need more support, we need more realness, we need more conversations about the difficult stuff. And yeah,
definitely. And I always say, like, I do a little Facebook lives and stuff, and I always say, instead of giving that comment, oh, shouldn't you be breastfeeding your baby, or oh, shouldn't your baby be wearing nicer clothes, or, you know, that negative comment, why not change it around and say to the mum, how are you feeling? Not how's your baby doing, how's his feeding going, whatever, how are you doing? Let's ask mums how they're doing, because actually they're the ones that their whole life has changed. Exactly. And they're the ones that are going to be suffering, and the baby doesn't, it sounds awful, but doesn't know any different, and actually is having the most amazing time because it's being fed and it's being able to sleep, and it's nice and safe and warm, when actually mums are the ones that need the question, how are you doing?
That's it. Baby's always going to be supported in some way, shape or form, but the mom, you know, is so
Henrietta, tell me about how I can find your business and what I can do to book a retreat.
So you can find us on social media at Breathe with Baby. We're still working on the website right now. It's honestly taken me nearly 4 years to make a website because I'm just like, I'm that picky. If you're interested in coming on a retreat, you just send us an email. Our emails are on all our social media pages, and we can put you on the waiting list so that we'll let you know when the next retreat is. But if you just follow us, we'll be up. We constantly update to let you know any upcoming dates or what's going on. But should have a website soon that does all of that work for us. But that's really it.
Right. You know, I'm going to be on the next one. You've not got rid of me. I'm like, a retreat. Definitely. Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, my son's 2 now, so it's probably, I'll probably be there, but
toddler moms need a break too, honestly.
It's hard.
It is hard out here, like, you know, when they're walking and like everywhere, and the tantrums, like, you know, so moms, I think whenever you have a child under 5, it's no joke. It's just no joke.
I think the only release is when they go to school. Like, my daughter's now 5, she goes to school, and like from that time 9 till 3, I'm like, whew. But then I've got another one too, so
now you're like,
school, I'll be like, good breathe.
I'm in the exact position that you're in, so I feel you.
How was it with your second baby? Sorry, just quickly before you finish.
Second baby, it was I actually had worse hyperemesis with her. I had it for longer. And I was like deathly ill. I dropped down to 35 kgs with her.
Oh my God.
I'm still trying to regain the weight now. That's how much, and she's 2. I don't think my body's ever really going to go back to normal, but I knew what support was in place this time, whereas I didn't know it with my first. So I did get really bad depression with her, like manic depression with her when I was like ill. And I did get in touch with the mental health team in Sheffield. I did get in touch with them, and then they appointed me as a mental health nurse, and she came to basically, like, every week she'd come check up on me, would have a chat, ask me how I'm feeling, any support I needed, and that helped loads. Because it was so bad, my pregnancy with her, I literally ended up, I found myself booking an abortion because I could not, it was that bad. But we planned her and everything, so I felt it was just so hard. But the moment I booked that appointment, I woke up the next morning and I felt so much better. And I don't know what happened overnight, you know, I don't know what happened overnight, but I woke up and I wasn't as ill. The medication was working, and I just thought, okay, I think I can do this. And then they put in more support for me as well, and it was just constant support. But when she was there, the bond was never affected. My bond with her is actually, my husband always says we've got a toxic relationship because we are never without each other, and we are always like stuck on each other. So it's better with her actually than it was with my son. But now my relationship with my son is like we are so close, and we are, you know, you wouldn't think I had postnatal depression with him. But yeah, there is still obviously hard periods, up and downs and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
We're
yeah,
always like that as mums.
yeah.
What about you and your son? How is that now?
Um, it is it's a hard one. So
Yeah,
our relationship is amazing now, and I
yeah,
think I'm still waiting for that rush of love. And I
yeah,
think like I've, one of the mental health nurses that look after me said to me, you can wait for that your whole entire life, or you can just sit
yeah,
back and enjoy the time that you've got right now. And I was like, do you know what? Yeah. Like, why am I waiting for this? And
mm,
so our relationship has grown
mm,
like massively. If you
yeah,
wouldn't, walking down the street, no one would realize what happened to me and how I felt towards him.
yeah,
We still have our struggles, I think, and I think
yeah,
that's something that will come with more time. And it's been 2 years, and only time is a healer. I think,
yeah,
time and support is the healer. So
mm,
maybe in a bit more time, it will grow even more so.
yeah,
But yeah, I feel like the time that we lost out on, which was quite a lot of time and quite a
mm,
lot of bonding time, I feel like we've made up for that now. That I
yeah,
feel like I can just go, yeah, like we've made up for that time now. You know me, I know
yeah,
you.
yeah.
But he's a very demanding child. He's so loud
It-
and he's like a tornado. Everywhere he goes, it just like
yeah,
so yeah, it's challenging. But
yeah,
my relationship with my daughter, I felt like grew when I had
mhm,
Alfie, because I felt that I used to
yeah,
say my bond has come out in Gracie rather than Alfie.
yeah,
So I feel like my relationship with my daughter almost went, it sounds a bit mad, but almost went too good, if that makes sense. So
yeah.
like I used to be quite um disciplinary, and like disciplinary, is that a word? I'm not sure. I used to, when she did something wrong, I would tell her she's done something wrong, and she would, she learns like that. That's how I feel children learn. And yet when I was unwell, she couldn't do any wrong. She
Yeah,
was, anything that she did was
yeah,
absolutely incredible. So I think it's
yeah,
over too much, if that makes sense. I don't know if you can love
yeah,
someone
I get
too
you.
much, but you know what I
Yeah,
mean.
yeah,
Whereas now I feel like we've slowly got that balance back. And
yeah,
for a long time, I wasn't able to put her on the naughty step. I wasn't able to
yeah,
tell her that she's done something wrong. Whereas now I
yeah.
can. And I know that sounds really weird, but I'm quite proud of that.
Yeah, yeah, it's an achievement. Yeah. But I think that whole acceptance of, okay, maybe I'm not supposed to be the fluffy rainbow, maybe that's just not me, and
Yeah,
that's fine. But
yeah,
it doesn't mean I don't love my children. It doesn't mean that I don't adore them, and I don't put my time and effort into trying to be the best mom that I can be, and just enjoying the ride. And yeah, like I agree with what your mental health nurse said as well, that you're probably always going to be waiting for that,
yeah,
because the truth is that's just not you
yeah,
love them in your way, and it's very unique to you, and it may not look like how somebody else shows love to their children. It's a bit like when you look into any relationships you have, like if you've got any siblings, your relationship with your siblings in comparison to my relationship with my siblings is going to be very different. But
yeah,
it doesn't mean that we don't love them or anything like that. It just means that we relate differently to them. So yeah, and I think after the journey you've been through, any amount of love that you can feel for them is an achievement. Any amount of effort you put into them is an achievement, and you are being an amazing mom
yeah.
speaking about your story. So yeah,
You
you're
too.
amazing.
You too. I think anyone that stands up and speaks about their story, whether it be publicly or even to somebody who's given them support, even a family member or their partner,
Mhm.
anybody that talks about their story is
Yeah,
incredible.
yeah,
And so to share it in such an open way like we do on social media and things is yeah, it's, I find it, some people say to me, don't you find it really hard to keep telling your story? And I'm like, no, actually I find it quite therapeutic, because
yeah,
I feel like if I'm telling someone that might be
mhm,
suffering slightly,
yeah,
might feel like actually maybe I can get help and maybe I do need help. And so if
yeah,
I can change that in somebody, then it's a goal for me. And so
mhm,
no, I don't find it hard in any way at all. I actually find it really helpful for me and
yeah.
hopefully for others.
Amazing.
So
Oh,
yeah.
an amazing time just talking about this.
I know. I feel like we could chat forever.
Literally.
We generally
no, but we can chat when we definitely need to meet up at some point.
I'm going to be at a retreat. That's where I'll be.
I'll see you there.
Yeah, definitely.
But no, thank you so much for this.
Thank you.
But yeah, thank you.
See you